Set. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the unveiling. Yes, this is the unveiling for me of the Genius Edge method. This is really the operating system that rests behind what I call the Workplace Multipliers Business School. It's what I use to help career professionals build the machine that helps them create high leverage wins for them consistently. And what I'm hoping to do at the end of our conversation today is give you the breadth and depth of what sort of impact that this method can actually create for you. So, in terms of who this workshop is for you. If you believe that you are the invisible expert, you're good at delivering great results, but it seems like nobody is noticing. You work hard, and you believe that you actually work harder than some of those that are getting promoted. This workshop is for you. If you believe you are talented, but it just seems like there are so many priorities that keep, interestingly, I think earlier this week I was looking into a senior executive's priority list for the day, and honestly he had the whole page. So give or take, let's say you have maybe like 20 odd lines. That whole 20 lines was filled, and then he had already started writing another list of priorities, and I was just like, this is supposed to be somebody on the senior edge. This is somebody who actually needs the Genius Edge method. The fact that you have this number of tasks and priorities that you call priorities, you're basically scratching your ability to perform at the highest level. And of course, you have the exhausted overachiever. Success is killing you. You are delivering the results, but the results is coming as a result of long hours. And really, for yourself, you're beginning to fear that, look, you're headed for burnout. And if you believe that you have gotten that potential for exponential impact beyond just delivering regular results, you want to be able to transform one win into 3 wins, such that you don't always have to be the one that has to be repeating the cycle. If you fall in any of these four categories, I want to tell you this: you are in the right place. Like I said, the Genius Edge method is going to bring that level of clarity, focus, and transformation for you in your world of work. Now, for those of you who are probably finding me for the first time, you're probably asking yourself, who is this guy, and why should you trust anything I'm going to be saying over the course of our time together today? That's a valid question. So let me tell you a bit about myself. My career has taken me working across Africa and Europe, working in French, English, and Spanish speaking countries. Yes, I still dabble in my French and I still dabble in my Spanish. Yes, I will not tell you which of the languages I like best so that I don't cause enmity between my friends in the other country. So let's just keep that between us for now. In terms of the breadth of what it is that I've done, I have been known for the results that I've delivered across the different countries that I've worked in, across the different areas that I've worked in. Some of the results that I've delivered is I've been able to negotiate significant funding with international institutions. In addition to that, I've also delivered results in some of the projects that I've had the opportunity of leading across different countries, large-scale projects. Some of the projects have involved working with government entities, and I've been able to deliver results. In terms of working, I've been able to work with about 8 national, state, and regional governments across Africa, not just only in Nigeria. You're talking about in Senegal, Rwanda, Ethiopia, a couple of other countries there that I've had the privilege of working with different countries. And in addition to that, apart from my regular day job, I'm also the founder of the Workplace Multipliers Business School, a training and mentoring platform for career professionals who want to win at work and in life. And some of the people I work with span across Africa, Europe, and North America. The whole idea of why I'm sharing all this is to let you know that you're talking to somebody who has a reputation for delivering results, and it's that reputation that for delivering results that has led to me to come together to create the framework which I call the Genius Edge method. And what I basically used it to do is create repeatable success and results, not only for myself but the people that I've had the opportunity of working with. And the goal for me at every point in time, whether it's working in my life or working with people, is to win at work and in life. For me, I don't believe that you have to separate one side from the other. You need to be able to deliver results on all aspects of life. And so for me, I believe in that level of total impact. In addition to all these, I'm also a published author. I've written the book Winning Beyond Borders: Achieving Success at Work in a New Country, which represents a comprehensive guide for professionals who want to excel working in a new country or with other professionals outside of their country. Now, this is a book that has received critical acclaim from both professionals in different, The book was basically, I've gotten feedback from literally everybody in every continent except Antarctica, because there are still no ways we've been able to convince penguins on how to read. So in terms of everybody from every continent, I have gotten feedback, and the feedback is that this is a handbook that really helps them to deliver that kind of results in new countries. So enough about me. You're not here because of my pretty face, even if I do say so myself. Let's move into what is the game. So question I want to ask you here is this: how are you showing up on the field? And when we're talking about the field, we're talking about the field of work. How are you showing up? Now, whilst different thoughts are going into your mind in terms of, okay, what does this question really mean? Where is he really going with this question? Don't worry, I'm going to bring it back home. So to make you understand what exactly I'm saying and where the frame of thinking I want you to adapt, I want to bring you into this understanding. There's what I call the four levels of workplace capability in terms of how it is that you are able to do your work, how it is that you are able to deliver results at the workplace. So there are four levels. So we're going to go through all the four levels systematically. So the first level, that's what I call the terrible level, which is signified, as you can see, with the color red. People actively avoid working with you, and the reason is this: you're known for missing deadlines regularly, you require constant supervision and reminders, you literally create more work for other people, you deliver poor quality results, and you avoid responsibility and accountability. I'm sure immediately I was reading it, there are some of you are like, I think I know somebody like that in my office. We know people like this, and we, like you said, people actively avoid working with those set of people. Now let's move up. You go to the orange color. On the orange color, that's average. You are replaceable and easily forgotten. And the reason is because you meet basic requirements most of the time. You follow instructions, but you don't think ahead. You deliver functional value only. That's literally that you get the job done. You're always waiting to be told to do what, to know what it is that you need to do next. You deliver functional value. Basically, you're just getting the job done. You focus on task and not on outcome. So literally for you, it's like, oh, what have they told you to do? You do it, and you're not thinking in terms of what outcome this particular task is meant to drive. In terms of, okay, do I need to push it to this next person? Do I need to provide additional clarification for the next person to be able to understand? You are not able to do that. That's the person playing on the average level. So we move to the green level, which is someone who is relatively better. People start depending on this kind of person, and they basically seek their input. They consistently deliver quality work on time. They anticipate needs and reduce takeover stress. They provide both functional and emotional value in terms of the work that they are doing. They take initiative on improvements. They communicate proactively about progress and issues. Now, you're asking yourself, this sounds like a good place to be. How can there be something that is higher than this level? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that is higher than that level, and that's the level that I call the workplace multiplier. For this person, you are indispensable, and opportunities seek you out. This person delivers functional, emotional, and transcendent value. He makes everyone around them more successful. They create solutions before problems become critical. They build bridges across teams and departments. They multiply results through others, not just personal effort. Now, I'm sure you probably noticed I've said functional, emotional, and transcendent value. And if you're probably discovering me for the first time, you're wondering what does he mean in terms of all these. If you've attended some of my previous workshops, yes, I've explained it. So I'm just going to give you the Cliff Note version of what those means. Functional value means that you deliver results that just meet the objective of what it is they've asked for. Then when you move to the next level, emotional value, what you basically are doing at that point in time is that you are making people feel good for your results. So for example, you're going to deliver a result. Not only do you deliver it on time, you deliver it in a way that takes away stress. So let's imagine you are in a finance department. Yes, you're supposed to deliver the monthly financial statements. In addition to delivering the monthly financial statements on time, you probably include things like charts that are able to explain to people the most important things, so that people don't literally have to go through every single page of your financial statement. Those 2-page charts basically tell them everything they need to know about the financial statements, and for them, they don't necessarily have to go through the rest of it. So at that point in time, you are providing a emotional value, reducing stress, making people feel good about your outcomes. And then when you get to transcendent value means that, look, you're delivering beyond just providing emotional and the functional value that whatever your task is, but you're moving to the point of being able to influence organizational decisions. For example, like the example I gave about the person who delivers results, provides charts and everything. In addition to providing charts, he now starts making recommendations that look, based on the trajectory of this particular performance, we feel it's important that we start investing in this particular thing. Or, for example, you might say that look, we were able to make savings in this particular initiative, and based on this level of savings that we're able to make, we think that it might be possible for us to invest in this new initiative. So you're going beyond just providing the regular thing you're supposed to do. You've gone beyond emotional. You've now started making recommendations that actually drive the bigger picture of the organization. And that's what a workplace multiplier does. So you've understood the four different levels. And at this point in time, I would like you to take a pause and just ask yourself. Now, I'm not going to tell you to write on the chat where it is that you are, but I want you to do that for yourself and just ask yourself, where do you really fit in on this chart in terms of where you're positioned on this chart? I'm going to add one more thing to your thinking, because really, for every one of us, irrespective of how good we are on the job or whatever, the most important thing for us on the job is really the money that we're able to get, in terms of the recognition that we get, in terms of the funding that we get from the job. So the financial reality is that, look, the person who is on the red level, that's the level one, that's the terrible income. The person faces financial stress because you're not able to deliver the level of value that people would be willing to pay more for you. On the average level, yes, you can survive, but you're not thriving. Literally, if you stop working, income stops for you. On the better level, you are recognized, but you can't scale. Scale means that, look, you're not able to expand yourself to take up bigger roles, because the bigger roles you're able to take, the more that you're able to get income for yourself. And of course, the threshold that we really want you to be, that's the threshold whereby you work few hours and earn more, whereby you create systems that generate value and not increase them. But it's at this point that you enter financial freedom. And the reason why you enter financial freedom is because you've been able to build systems that allows you, even if you decide that you want to start up another practice or a business outside of your regular day work, you have systems that help you still deliver great results in the work. And at the same time, you've been able to translate those systems to those sort of business opportunities that you want to pursue in a way that it doesn't stress you at all. You have to be, it's very possible that you might be thinking that, look, oh, I'm on level 2 or level 3 and everything. But what you have to always remember here is this: you can be talented, hardworking, and still be stuck at level 2. Why? The reason is because what people pay for at every point in time is people pay for leverage. It's people don't pay for you in terms of your ability to be able to do anything. Basically, people are paying for you in terms of whatever leverage that you're able to bring into the workplace. And that's very important. So the three chronic problems of whoever it is, whether you are stuck on level 2 or level 3, because really in this conversation, if anybody is stuck on level 1, man, it's a different conversation we have to talk about, because number one, that means this person might actually have to have a mindset problem. There are different levels of intervention that you need for that person. So this conversation is not about the person on level 1. I'm actually talking about people on level 2. So there are three core problems at level 2 and 3. There are three core problems that you'd have. Problem number one: you are just so distracted. You assume that you have plenty of opportunities. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, so that people can recognize you at work. Look, you're chasing like everything, 15 priorities, and literally you have what you call decision paralysis, because there's so much that you're like, what decision can you make? Problem number two: you're working so hard, but there's no leverage. It literally means that, look, the only way you think you can deliver results is by working more. So the only way you can deliver results is by working more hours. So you are the kind of person is that you're just staying working long hours. Problem number three: yeah, you achieve wins, but they don't multiply, meaning that every single thing that you are able to achieve is a standalone. There's no way in which you're able to transfer whatever lessons or whatever success that you have from one particular win, transfer it to the way that you're going to create subsequent wins. Literally, what you're having is you're having linear efforts. Every single time you're having to reinvent the wheel, start the whole process. Ladies and gentlemen, the Genius Edge method solves all these three problems. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. What can you all see in the chat? Just tell me what it is that you can see on your screen. So on the chat, let me see just type what it is that you can see on the chat. Let me see. Yeah, please just type on the chat. Let me see exactly what it is that you can see. Very important. I need to be sure that we're seeing what it is that we have on the scene exactly the way it is. Okay, let's see. Iceberg, yes, someone has responded. An iceberg, exactly. You're seeing an iceberg. And I'm sure we're all familiar with this metaphor where people talk about the iceberg, whereby what is under is actually more than what is above, and all those sort of things. And ladies and gentlemen, don't be surprised, in world of work, the iceberg metaphor is actually play. So how does that play? Most of the time, where we are all focused on is we are all focused on the top of the iceberg, whereby we're focused on completing our assignments on time, following instructions correctly, working hard, and staying busy. You know, my my first boss that I had post NYSC, one of the things he used to say was that even if you are not busy, you have to look busy, look busy, look busy. So, so there are people like that. Even when they are not busy, they work with this metaphor that look, yeah, I like Eniola. I said I see iceberg with little up and bigger under. Great. You know, they like this. They like to show up and like, we look busy. But what you have to realize is that the real thing that moves the needle for your career is what is on the ground. You need to be able to transform basic task completion into value delivery. You need to reduce stakeholder anxiety with every interaction. People need to feel good working with you. You need to build a reputation as someone who makes others' jobs easier, other people's jobs easier. You need to connect authentically by showing up to serve others. You need to create an ecosystem of people who want to help you succeed. Literally, you have to become indispensable. And ladies and gentlemen, 90% of your career success comes from what is beneath the surface, the foundational elements that most people ignore while chasing the visible 10%. Now, how many people can resonate with this? If you resonate with this, just type yes in the chat. If you resonate with what it is that is on this chat, just type yes. In terms of what really drives success, 90% of your career success comes from what is beneath the surface, the foundational elements that most people ignore while chasing the visible 10%. If you resonate with that, type yes in the chat. Okay, let's see. Let me go and check the chat. So good. Okay, yeah, this is catching up on everything. Okay, so if this resonates with you, just type yes. Everything that you can see on the screen, if that resonates with your understanding of the workplace, I need you to type yes. Yes, I can see somebody typing yes there. Good. Thanks very much, Titi. I can see you typing yes. Now, if we can all agree that this is the metaphor of the workplace, that means we need to focus our energies on being able to develop that on the ground, that thing that lies beneath the surface of the iceberg. And this is where I'm going to give you what I call the definition of the workplace multiplier, the person playing on the number 4. A workplace multiplier delivers consistently exceptional results while working fewer hours than their peers. Very, very much important. He's able to maximize the hours that he has to be able to deliver more. They earn greater recognition and advancement, not through hustle, but through systems that create compounding leverage. That's very important. Not every result is equal. That's the one thing you need to embrace. Not every result is equal. The biggest mistake you can make is to assume that every single result is equal. And so it's very much important. This is one of the things that distinguishes a workplace multiplier. They know the difference between every result. They are not just investing their energy on every result. They're focused on systems, not hustle. They're focused on compounding, not linear. For them, less time with more impact. Very important to them. So at this point in time, I'd like to introduce you to what I call the Genius Edge method. It's just a combination of 5 unique steps. Now, these steps together, not individually, these steps together compound to create workplace multipliers, meaning that, look, the implementation of all these 5 steps on a consistent basis, such that it becomes the operating system by which you evaluate and assess every single thing that you do, significantly set you on the path to living as a workplace multiplier, to be able to drive that kind of results that creates opportunities for you. And I'm not going to leave you guessing about what each particular step is. We're going to go through every one of these steps systematically, one at a time. So let's start with step 1, the clarity scan. The whole idea here is this: you want to move from scattered to focused. Instead of focusing on 15 to 25 priorities, because literally, if you have 15 to 25 priorities, you really have no priorities. What you have is a to-do list. Literally, that's literally what it is. You have what you call a to-do list. And having a to-do list simply means that you have plenty of things that you have to keep on diffusing your energy on at every point in time. The solution here is this: walking through this whole process, you need to be able to come to 2 to 3 true priorities, meaning that whether it is every week, every month, every quarter, you need to be able to reduce everything that you're focused on into 3 true priorities, meaning that there should be 2 to 3 things that basically would help to move your needle. And at the same time, you need to have what you call your no list. Now, this is one of the things that is very difficult, but what you have to realize is that in the world of work that we live at the moment now, everybody wants a piece of your time. And if you keep on saying yes to everybody, you would keep on doing everybody's work without necessarily having the time to do the high priority task that is really going to move the needle for you. There's an example that I shared with a couple of in some of the previous workshops that I've had, whereby I said, look, there was once upon a time there was a more senior person in the office. We were going for a meeting, maybe like around I can't remember. Just I mean, bottom line, the we're going in for a meeting, and just as we're going in for a meeting, the person now told me that, oh, by the way, I have another meeting in 1 hour that I want you to join. You know what I told the person? I said, no, I'm not joining the meeting. I was like, I said, I'm not joining the meeting because I don't think I'm needed for that meeting. She was like, okay. By the time he saw that I was really, really not bulging, the person now said, okay, let a member of your team join that meeting. I said, no, no member of my team is going to join that meeting. And I'll tell you the reason why I took that line of positioning. For me, if it is only 1 hour to an external meeting that you decided to call me into that meeting, that means you really, really didn't need me for that meeting. Because this is a meeting with an external person. It wasn't a meeting that you just fixed like 20 minutes ago. It's a meeting that you had pre-booked. And you just telling me like an hour to the time, telling me, oh, you want me to join a meeting. It's just like a case of you just want more people to fill in the room. So it wasn't really a case of my attention or the attention of anybody in my team was necessary for that meeting. You need to have that level of uh, delineation that you have within your job. Now, I know some of you are probably, and this is something that I've actually had happen, whereby I had when I gave this sort of situation, and I told people that like you need to be able to say no, and they're like, oh no, but you cannot be saying no because you also. I said, look, if you become good at delivering results, people will respect your no because they know that you are someone who is consistently good at delivering results. It is people who are not good at consistently delivering results who have to feel that they have to be good in everybody's books for people to move them. But if you are good delivering results and you follow a couple of other things, which we will be talking about in terms of maximizing your leverage, then you will not have a problem when you have to say no to things which don't form your priority list. Just realize saying no allows you to be able to say yes to the things that really move the needle for you. And this is what the clarity scan helps you to do. The clarity scan helps you to be able to identify your 2 to 3 clear priorities. Things that you can always answer to at every point in time when they ask you, what are you working on? These are my clear priorities that I am focused on at this particular point in time. That's step one. Step two, at this point in time, you have to realize that, look, you have a special skill. That's one thing I tell people. You have a special skill in terms of how you create results for people. You're not like everybody else. And the most important thing for you is to know that unique unfair advantage that you have over people that allows you to be able to see and achieve results faster in certain areas. That's the one thing you have to realize. It is in certain areas, it's not in all areas that you might be able to do that. So, for example, the example that I've given here is that, look, I'm a good communicator. I'm a good communicator. Really, really doesn't communicate anything. It doesn't really show an unfair advantage. For example, let's imagine that, look, you tell people that, look, I have the ability of bringing people on different points of view to agree on a common point of view. That is an unfair advantage. That basically means that you have to position yourself as that link person that brings people together to be able to drive whatever results you want to drive. That becomes your unfair advantage. So you need to be able to identify what your unfair advantage is, because your unfair advantage offers you the opportunity to move faster in those particular areas. I mean, there are areas within the workplace that I know are my unfair advantage, that anybody else who tries to play in that particular play is basically trying to play catch up. And there are areas in which I know I don't have any unfair advantage. And those particular areas, I avoid it. It's interesting that people, I guess, to a point that people believe you are so good that they think you are good in everything. And you have to consistently let people know that, look, I'm good in these areas, but I refuse to spread myself in this particular area. You may not tell them, but basically because in your heart of hearts, you know you don't have competence in that area. So that's what the edge finder helps you do. You need to find your unfair advantage so that you stop wasting effort where you are average. And you need to sometimes learn to be able to bring people who have unfair advantage in other areas to be able to support you. Because sometimes for you to get the job done, you bring your unfair advantage and then you bring other people's unfair advantage such that you create that kind of ripple effect that delivers the kind of results that moves things forward. Now, we move to the next step three. Step three, that's where you have your domino decision. And the whole idea here is this. Once you've been able to identify what it is that you want to do, you now need to be able to identify the one thing. Now, when I say one thing, we have to be very careful about that. Don't assume one thing for a long time. You know, the important thing you have to realize here is this. The one thing may be a combination of multiple levels of steps that you need to follow consistently every day. But the important thing is that you need to be very clear on that one bold move. That one bold move that if you do it, it's going to have a ripple effect. Don't worry if you're still a bit confused about how this works. At the end of me talking through all the 5 steps, I'm actually going to give a case study of one of the clients that I worked with that we were able to implement the Genius Edge method with. So we're going to go have a case study to go on through. So don't worry if you're still trying to. Of course, this is something new you're just hearing for the first time, and so it's a bit difficult for you to wrap your mind around it. Don't worry, there's going to be a case study which it's more of a success story. I won't call it a case study because when you call it case study, sometimes you think it's something that was just fabricated. No, this is not a fabricated story. This is a success story from one of my clients that worked with me one on one. So then there's the multiplier path. At this point in time, you now have to create systems. You now have to create the workflows. Basically, you have to create ways of automating whatever it is. It's at this point in time, you even need to learn to activate relationships. You know, I was explaining to you previously that you need to understand that it's not everything that you have to be a master on. You need to learn to bring people who are masters in different areas, bring them together. It's at this point, like I said, you need to compound momentum, and sometimes you need to learn to activate relationships. How you activate relationships, how you build relationships, those are some of the things we're going to you need to get into at step 4. Because the whole idea is this: if you are able to activate processes and relationships that help you to drive your results, what you could end up having is that you could end up having saving significant hours. Beyond saving significant hours in terms of how much you work in the workplace, you might even have new doors that would open to you, new opportunities. The bottom line here is this: you need to create wins that multiply. And then, of course, the final thing, you need to have a feedback mechanism. Very, very much important. There's no use running blind, implementing and executing, doing things every week in day, without having a process for you to uh, revisit everything you have done. You know, I have a process whereby every week I review my week. I actually put myself to a test. So I have a mailing group of where people that actually write lessons that I've learned during that particular week. I try to make sure that I don't overwhelm them. I actually just write, I think maybe like 2 lessons that I've learned that I want to share with them. But that's the practice that I have in terms of being able to go back over the week. So I'm even trying to, at the moment now, I'm actually trying to implement, well, not that I'm trying to implement, I've implemented a process that allows me at the end of every day, not only do I revisit everything I did that whole day, I try to codify everything that I've gone through the day into lessons that become structures for me to actually transfer those lessons in a way that can help other people. So I've gone beyond just trying to take lessons for myself. I'm actually trying to take it to the next level of creating daily lesson banks that becomes the basis for me to even transfer those sort of learnings and experiences into repeatable systems that other people can follow. That's part of trying to do it. So in terms of how these compounds, like I said, you go through all these steps, and all these steps lead you to the addressing that on the ground, that foundation, that 90% that we're talking about. It helps you to address that on the ground, position you as the workplace multiplier that you need to be in the workplace. So here is the case study that I said I was going to give to you at this point in time. So this is not the person's real name. No. Now, one of the things which the people that interesting, the kind of people that work with me are almost like similar people like me. Uh, we like to focus mainly on results and the job. We're not in it for self promotion and that sort of thing. So for most of the people that I work with, they like that sort of anonymity. to use the word. And that's why even you notice, for those of you who have followed me on social media, the focus of my social media posting is focused on driving results for you in the workplace or in your life and that sort of thing. You hardly would see me posting things, it's just my nature. And interestingly, that's the sort of people that resonate around me. So maybe it's a case of like attracting like. So this person is actually based in the UK, and she's a healthcare support worker, and it was struggling. The person she was struggling with workplace. I've used Sylvia as the name, so let's just stick with Sylvia. That Sylvia is the case study name that I've decided to adopt for her. So, Sylvia lacked confidence in her new role. She also faced a critical probation period. She couldn't contribute effectively in meetings. I mean, she would tell me that most meetings, even if she feels that she could say something, she just kept quiet, and she was unable to take new responsibilities in her role. So, one of the primary targets that we had during the time when we worked together was that we needed to get her across her probation period, not just passing it just lightly, but successfully delivering results, creating new opportunities for us. So, in terms of how we did it, so first we tried to identify we identified the core skills needed for her to excel in her job. And then using the edge finder, we're able to discover the strength that she had, and we were able to. So there are different things in terms of structure that we introduced in that whole process that helped to build her skills systematically. So all these skills that we highlighted were skills that we worked towards getting for her. And by the end of the time when she worked with me, she was able to get an outstanding probation performance. She passed with excellence. Her confidence had transformed, and she now contributes actively in meetings. Leadership emerged in terms of taking on new responsibilities proactively. Her communication had also significantly improved. To the point whereby she could have what you call crucial conversations. Those sort of conversations that everybody's afraid to have with people in the workplace. Yeah, she had mastered that ability to be able to have crucial conversations, and she could already see a clear path to the next career level. And literally, she had better problem solving and reading non-verbal cues from people in the workplace. So now I'm going to read exactly how she put it in her own words. So this is going to be exactly how she put it in her own words. In her own words, she said, "We identified crucial skills for my role, which include," she's listed, empathy, communication, patience, teamwork. Working on each, practicing them, and keeping a record of life scenarios are taking the attributes like second nature to perform better both for now and future roles. I can easily identify workplace scenarios, interpret them, and handle them more professionally. This is her right. This is exactly her words as she put it out. In terms of measurable improvements, now this is exactly what she wrote: outstanding probation performance, excellent improvement in my negotiation and crucial conversation skills, intentional use of my people connection skills with empathy, more proactive at problem solving, more observant of non-verbal communication cues in meeting clients' needs, improvements in my relationship with family, friends, and support system, also setting healthy boundaries without guilt trip. I mean, wouldn't you love this kind of result? You understand? Starting from just, you can imagine the ability to actually diagnose the multiplier effect of just one thing. Because like I said, when she came, the only thing she wanted to just do was she wanted to be able to successfully pass her probation period, improve her communication. But from just focusing on that, because we're able to create multiplier impacts in terms of just one result was able to drive significantly other results, to the point whereby even in her personal life, she's talking about the results that she's been able to get. So in terms of how these work, in terms of how you can look at it from the progression path, typically there's the foundation. Like I said, this, for most of you, meet on this webinar, this is probably the first time you're hearing about this. So usually the first 90 days is more like your foundation laying stage, and then by the time you're going to month 4 to 6, that's when you start building momentum. The foundation stage, at that point in time, you are installing the complete operating system. Like I said, this is a complete operating system. It forms a way of thinking. It forms a way of seeing things. It forms a way of driving your results in the workplace. And at this point in time, you're basically moving from scattered to focused, because you have a better assessment in terms of how you see things and how you do things. By the time you move to momentum in months 4 to 6, What you're basically doing is you're moving, if you're in level two, you're actually moving from average to better. You're moving to level three. At that point in time, you have systems that are running semi-automatically. Beautiful. By the time you move to month 7 to 12, that's you're at the compounding stage. At this point in time, the operating system, the machine, is fully operational. Your wins multiply without constant input, which is really, really what we want. Like the case study I just gave to you, she had built a system that allows her to compound the impact in different areas. She had basically crossed to the workplace multiplier in that particular area. And of course, by the time you're getting to year two, you move beyond just implementing it for yourself. You've become a teacher, and at this point in time, you're able to create leverage for others. You're not just building a career, you're building a legacy. So at this point in time, I like to take a pause just to get feedback from everybody in terms of if you want to, you can actually unmute yourself. If you have a question you'd like to ask, you can actually unmute yourself. I think I can give you, yeah, I think let me see. Yeah, I've given you your powers of speech. So if you have any specific questions, you want to ask any clarification that you'd like at this point in time, based on everything we've talked about, yes, now is a wonderful time to do that. Or if you're shy and you're not bold enough, you just want to type it in the chat, you can do that and just type it in the chat. Okay. Okay, looks like let me see. Is anybody typing anything on the chat? Okay, let's see. I haven't seen anybody type anything on the chat. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I think this is so if I hear you correctly, you're saying within 2 years you can actually go through from being foundational to mastery. You need that consistency across 2 years, correct?
Okay, yes, if you want to, and when we talk about mastery, we're talking to the point of you actually implementing the same system for others. The beauty about this thing is that by the time you start implementing it for yourself, you actually see patterns that you want to repeat for others. So literally what you want to do is you also want others to start implementing the same system within the workplace. So it becomes automatic to you. So by year two, you should become someone that is actually practicing it for the people that you understand you work with. Yeah. So yes, you're right. Okay. Okay. So any other question, any other feedback? Okay. That's good. Looks like I have an audience that seems to understand everything. That's good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. So, let's go forward. So, at this point in time, there are four features for you. When I mean by four features, there are four directions you can go at the end of this particular conversation that we just had at the end of this presentation. So, this is you today. This is the future you in 12 months. And the reason why I decided to use 12 months is that 12 months provides significant opportunity for you to test, revamp, reintroduce, and reposition yourself, however it is. That's the lovely thing about 12 months. So that's the reason why I've put 12 months as your future here. So there are four possible futures that you can have. There's the critical, and then there's the bad, and then there's the okay, and then there is ideal. And this is your journey towards every one of them. So your journey towards every one of them basically starts from a decision that you make today. Decision that you make today defines where it is that you're going to end up in terms of how you position yourself for all these futures. So what line are you on? That's the question. The line that you're on, for example, if you decide to stay in the line that takes you to critical, well, you already know we've already gone through the four levels: income instability and financial stress. Yeah. And then if you move to the one that leads you to bad, you can survive, but you can't thrive. And then, of course, if you move to the one that takes you to okay, you're recognized, but you can't scale. And of course, the ideal is takes you to financial freedom, because at that point in time, that's when you're working with systems. So there are two ways in which you can look at everything. You can decide you want to make a decision today, or you can decide you want to make a decision in the future. Now, if you decide to make a decision today, The gap between you and any one of these decisions is a lot shorter. So, for example, the gap between ideal and critical is shorter. But if you keep the decision until much later, the gap continues to expand and expand and expand. So, the question really for you is this: how long do you want to wait before you jump these lines? How long do you want to wait before you decide where it is that you want to put? Because either way, whatever it is, there is a line that you're going to end up on, whatever decision you make today. Now, there's actually, even though the ideal point has a time, there's actually a way in which you can even collapse time in terms of hitting the ideal position, meaning that the kind of success, yes, even though we've talked about 12 months, there's actually a way in which you can might probably even collapse time when it is that you're even talking about getting to the ideal position. But there are two types of people that usually might be watching or listening to this. You have people who are below the line and dreaming of above the line results. Yeah, you have people like that. They're below the line in terms of where it is that they are in terms of their competence, their capability, but they're dreaming about the above the line results, the results of the people on the okay and the ideal. And then so you have people who are on above the line in terms of their capabilities, they are there, but they seem to be getting below the line results and they don't know why. So, are you above the line or you are below the line? How do you position yourself? So, what I'm going to tell you here is this: irrespective of wherever it is you are, what you really need is you need a community, you need mentorship and coaching, you need accountability, you need proper feedback, you need system and structure. Very, very important. And you need best practice. And that's what you get within the framework that operates in the Workplace Multipliers Business School. That's the Genius Edge method. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to be presenting to you is the High Leverage Wins 90-day Mastermind. And what do you get there? Firstly, and this starts November 1st, 2025. The way in which it runs is that the first session that we're going to have is a full day on Saturday. If that's November 1st, November 1st is Saturday. And what we're going to do is this: we're going to map out. It's a workshop, so it's not like a place where they're going to be teaching you. You have, if you want to show up there, you have to show up ready to work. It's as simple as that. You are showing up ready to work. And by the end of that day, we're going to define your 2 to 3 high leverage priorities. In addition to that, we're also going to define what you need to do over the next 30 days in terms of the results that you need to deliver. And what you're also going to be getting, and after that day one foundational workshop that we're going to have, you're going to have 6 live mastermind sessions, which will happen every 2 weeks. It's basically 90 minutes with me and 9 other high performers. You will have access to the complete Genius Edge method in terms of the tools and the templates. All these things that I've talked to you about, there are tools, there are templates. For example, like the client that I told you that I work with, there are different assessments that we had to implement for her to be able to identify where it is where she was, and based on the assessment, we were able to determine, okay, this is what it is that we need to do to move her to the next level. And of course, you have mass community and support. There is priority access that you have with me. In terms of how that whole transformation is going to happen over the 90-day journey, month one, that's where we focus on the foundation. We identify your first high leverage win. Like I said, this is where we're going to launch your first 30-day milestones. By month two, you'd have completed your high leverage win, and then at that point in time, we are building repeatable systems. We're basically going to be triggering the 2 to 3 follow-on wins, and then by month three, your 2 to 3 high leverage wins would have been completed. And then, of course, your wins would have started multiplying automatically. And then you have an operating system that installed for life. By day 90, literally, you have 2 to 3 high leverage wins, repeatable systems that help you deliver results faster. 10 to 15 hours reclaimed every week, and follow-ons on wins, multiplying without extra effort, extra clarity, crystal clarity on what matters, the operating system that you use forever. What you are really getting, you're not buying information. That's one thing I need to be clear with you. You're not buying information, you're buying access to transformation, because I am going to be working with you through this whole process. Now, you ask me, why am I making it just for 7? Well, because within the context of a mastermind, what you want is deep relationships, direct attention, and collective momentum. This, like I said, is a mastermind, not a webinar where you put like 20, 50 people together. No, that's not what this is. This is a mastermind. And within the context of the mastermind, we need to be able to provide that level of support on a one-on-one basis. So there are three parts that you can choose at this point in time. Path one, you can decide you do nothing, continue however it is. Part two, you can decide to try it alone. I've already given you sort of like blueprint of how this is meant to run for you. So you can decide to try it alone, but of course, it's likely because you don't have that support to keep you driven, you might probably lose momentum. How at some point in time, I know I'm sure most of you can reference different trainings that you have actually paid money to be part of, and in the end, you still ended up not watching or reading those trainings. They are probably just links that you have on your web pages or information that you have on your hard drive that you still haven't gone through today. Or you can decide to work with me by joining the mastermind. Work with me for 90 days, and then you basically have the system that drives you forward. So, how you can get in? Well, number one, you need to indicate your interest by messaging me on WhatsApp, or sending an email on this address, and then after you reach out to me, we're going to have a brief qualification call. Now, the reason why we're going to have this call here is this: I need to be sure that, look, this is the right fit for where you are. uh, One thing I've learned in my work with people is that, look, there are times in which people desire certain things, but they are not in the place in terms of headspace, or even based on the different things the different priorities that they have in life, they're not in the right position to do it. And so for me, there's no use saying that you want to join this program simply because you really want to join. No, I don't. I want to know that, look, you're the right fit, you're committed to the process, and we're aligned on expectations. And once you've been accepted, you will receive the payment link, and payment will be due within 48 hours to hold your spot. Like I said, spots are based on best fit, not on first come, first serve. So just the fact that somebody grabs it immediately, somebody reaches out to me, does not automatically mean that person gets in. The most important thing is I need to know that this is the right fit for you. Because what I'm going to be, I'm offering significant guarantees, and number one guarantee is that if after the first 14, if after the first 14 days, you are not satisfied, you feel that this is not working for you, I'm going to refund you anything you pay. 100%, no questions asked. And if at the end of the 90 days and you've been consistent in delivering all the assignments and all the tasks, and you still haven't seen results, I will work with you for another 30 days free of charge. So that's the level of commitment that's the level of commitment that I have to this system in terms of its ability to deliver results, that I'm willing to issue out these sort of guarantees. So the real question really is that, are you ready to create your impact? Are you ready to move from scattered effort and to compounding wins? Are you ready to start building systems? Ladies and gentlemen, the Genius Edge method is that way for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this information, the email, and I'm going to leave it in the chat so that you can easily just use it to reach out to me. So at this point in time, I will, if there are any questions anybody would like me to take. So this would be a wonderful time to just take questions. So questions on whatever it is I've said in terms of if there's an aspect of it that you need clarification from, yeah, this would be a good opportunity.